A multi-stakeholder forum identifies critical issues to be addressed amid the ongoing higher education crisis. Pressure mounts on the SABC over the new appointment of Hlaudi Motsoeneng as a critical parliamentary committee meeting looms. A very happy Monday to you. You're watching eNews Direct. I'm Duduzile Ramela.
And I'm Sandy Legangose. Good evening.
To comment on any of our stories, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct.
And tonight our hashtags are THIS Forum, Danny Jordaan and SABC.
The multi-stakeholder Imbizo on the crisis on higher education has adopted a declaration. It has identified 5 issues that need further discussion, including dealing with next year's fees, student debt and transformation. The department has pleaded with protesting students to be patient in the meantime.
1. The academic program at universities to resume as a matter of urgency in all institutions where these have been halted. 2. The continuation of critical work to provide medium and long-term solutions to student funding needs with the time frames already set out. 3. The continuation of dialogue between all parties so that these can contribute to the nature of the solutions that will be put in place. 4. Protests where these occur to be peaceful and to avoid infringing on the rights of others.
Now, earlier, student leaders accused President Jacob Zuma of prioritizing his ANC commitments over the national higher education crisis. He left the stakeholders forum to attend a meeting at Luthuli House. Zuma delivered a speech at the gathering in which he urged students to return to class.
Gathering at a historic venue where South Africa's democracy was conceived through negotiation. Here, once again, to tackle another national crisis that seems intractable.
Thank you very much. You may be seated.
Well, in the interest of time.
Students stating their bottom line, saying they simply can't afford higher education fees.
Thank you very much.
What is happening on our campuses that at present has the potential to destroy our universities. But we have the power to change that, working together.
So, President, we are going to allow you and the ministers who will be accompanying you to take your leave.
But this cordial spirit of dialogue didn't last long.
We are the ones who must go back to our campuses now and say, oh, sorry, the president came to give us a press briefing and he went back to Luthuli House. We are tired of being shot at by this police system that thinks it's living in 1976.
What?
As the mistrust between the various stakeholders became apparent.
We are grandstanding because there's meeting. And we have agreements with you which you are violating now.
We did not invite the media, so it cannot be true that you are grandstanding because you are seeing the media. Why actually, we do not want these people to be here.
While the students didn't get their demand for President Jacob Zuma to return, the meeting proceeded with inputs from the church, labor, parents and other interested stakeholders.
Well, despite the University of Cape Town's attempts to continue with the academic year, students are still pushing for a complete shutdown. Many lectures were brought to a halt or cancelled as students disrupted academic activities. 6 students have been arrested by police for allegedly disrupting classes.
The fight for free higher education continues. Students from the University of Cape Town continued to attempt to shut down the campus by blocking entrances and interrupting classes and tutorials. The recent activities are likely to cause further disruption to the academic year, leaving many students' studies in limbo.
I'm trying to complete my assignment, but it's a struggle because I don't have access to the internet on my cell phone. And the only way I can complete this assignment is if I have internet access, which I will get at the labs and libraries, but they are closed.
But other students say they don't mind sacrificing the rest of the academic year.
I'm more worried about the system not being changed, because should I write my exams and pass and then have to deal with this again next year. That's not feasible. This is not a learning space.
Obviously, yes, I want my life to carry on and I want to graduate and I want to start working, etc., etc. But who am I to be selfish and say this protests are so wrong and like they're stopping my right from education when these people who can't even get into university because they can't afford the university.
Some students say they are afraid to visit the campus because of the presence of police and private security. But despite the chaos, university management says it is committed to continue with classes and completing the academic year. RT Narsi, Cape Town.
And over at Wits University, while lecturers spend today preparing for lessons tomorrow, students say they'll be facing empty lecture halls. Striking students say this will be the case until their call for free education is met. Things on campus heated up this afternoon with several incidents of intimidation.
It started as a quiet day at Wits University's Braamfontein campus, but police continued with their patrols. While academic staff reported for duty, some students came to check out the mood.
Did you vote yes in the referendum?
Oh yes, I did.
Why?
Because I was considering my studies being completed this year. I couldn't see myself having another year of doing the same things.
At a mass meeting, student leaders repeated their determination to get what they want.
There are those progressive academics and lecturers who were the ones who SMS'd 1,000 times to say yes, to fill up the opinion poll. As we went through West Campus now to evacuate the buildings, some of them pretended to leave and now they've gone back. Essentially what we're going to ask now is that the Direct Action Task Team meet up with SRC leaders to go back and make sure that they vacate those buildings.
Comrades, let us hold the ground and tomorrow Wits University remains shut.
The university says security will remain heightened on campus.
From tomorrow, we'll have full security as well as the police on campus outside our lecture theatres.
But for these students, it's either free higher education or nothing.
We are ready for free education.
Malunge Lupui, Johannesburg.
Let's focus on to other news now. The SABC is a rogue institution with no clear indication of who is in control. The only way to secure the public broadcaster's future is to revamp its board and corporate structure. That's the view of analysts and former board members as the SABC heads to a crucial parliamentary portfolio committee meeting this week to explain the ongoing chaos and financial losses there.
When the SABC heads to Parliament on Wednesday, at least 2 board members won't be singing in tune with their counterparts when it comes to Hlaudi Motsoeneng. Krish Naidu and Vusi Mavuso want his appointment as Group Corporate Affairs Executive set aside. They've made their feelings known in a letter to the board. And now they've got the backing of the ruling party.
There is a call on the board of the corporate to review the decision to appoint Mr. Hlaudi Motsoeneng as Group Executive of Corporate Affairs. Then it's agreed on the need for the parliamentary inquiry into board's fitness to hold office.
It's the latest in a series of crises faced by the public broadcaster over the past decade.
They've started to really operate in the worst possible way that you would expect of any kind of fascist, and they've done that unchecked and with the tacit and sometimes explicit support of the board and of the minister.
According to former Deputy CEO Govind Reddy, independence was the driving force behind the SABC board's stability and success in the 1990s.
As each new board came in and each new CEO came in, the independence was gradually eroded. It has gotten worse over the years, and certainly in the last few years it's become more and more of a political football. Certainly the current Minister of Communications has made no bones about the fact that she intends controlling the SABC, and that is extremely unhealthy.
Wednesday may or may not be the beginning of a long road to recovery for the SABC. This meeting in Parliament will decide the direction of the embattled public broadcaster for the foreseeable future. Nicolaas Bauer, Johannesburg.
Danny Jordaan has resigned as leader of the ANC in the Nelson Mandela Bay Council. Jordaan accepted the position after the Metro fell to a DA-led coalition in August after the local government elections. The ANC deployed him to serve as mayor in June last year. Its regional executive committee disbanded earlier in the year. He lost his mayoral position to the DA's Ethel Trollip.
We want to thank him as an African National Congress for the role that he has played, both as an executive mayor as well as a member of the ANC. Comrade Danny Jordaan remained a loyal and disciplined member of the ANC. We had a lot of engagement with him, and we have agreed as an organization we will be discussing with him so that he can assume a specific role within the organization.
In energy matters, Eskom's program for new power stations has received a boost with a 7 billion rand loan agreement from the China Development Bank. The agreement aimed at supporting Eskom's infrastructure construction program is expected to expedite the construction of some of the power utilities' power stations.
The 7 billion rand credit facility agreement signed between Eskom and the China Development Bank is meant for its capital expenditure program, which includes power plants Medupi, Kusile and Ingula. It will also fund the maintenance of these plants.
This is the first tranche of a total package of $5 billion, which we will be accessing over the next few years. So we are happy because this money is going to firstly help us in terms of improving our liquidity, but also most importantly is going to go towards the completion of our new build program, namely Medupi, Kusile and Ingula.
The agreement follows the signing of a memorandum of agreement between President Jacob Zuma and Chinese President Xi Jinping last year, when China pledged 94 billion rand to support the South African economy. Eskom says the agreement would help strengthen relations with China. The repayment period is after 3 years, and Eskom says the interest rates are competitive and market-related. Eskom's current borrowing requirement for its new build programs for the next 5 years is 360 billion rand. John Bailey, Pretoria.
Further afield, a 14-year-old boy was critically injured during a shootout with St. Louis police. The boy initially fired one shot at two officers traveling in a police vehicle in St. Louis, Missouri. An eyewitness reported that after firing the shot, the boy started running. The officers got out of the car and pursued the boy on foot. The boy is in a critical condition in hospital. Neither officer was injured, and a semi-automatic pistol was recovered from the scene. Residents in Haiti are preparing for the approach of Hurricane Matthew. Haitian and Jamaican officials are calling on residents in vulnerable coastal areas to evacuate their homes. Hurricane Matthew is expected to make landfall near southwestern Haiti and Jamaica today. Cuba has meanwhile suspended flights as heavy rainfall descended on the region. Thank you so much, Sandile. Pressure is mounting on the SABC over the reappointment of Hlaudi Motsoeneng. The DA and COPE led a demonstration in Auckland Park this morning calling for his resignation. They've given the SABC 72 hours to fire him and dissolve the board. Meanwhile, the Law Society of South Africa wants an investigation into the fitness of the board at the SABC. We end with this. President Jacob Zuma is understood to be meeting a royal delegation from the Eastern Cape. They have come to plead for the release of King Buyelekhaya Dalindyebo from prison. The king of the Abatembu is currently serving a 12-year prison sentence for assault, kidnapping, arson and defeating the ends of justice. The leaders are asking for a presidential pardon. Zuma is understood to be meeting the kings in his capacity as ANC leader. If you've missed any of the stories we're tracking for you tonight, you can of course find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct, or you can head on over to our website. That's eNCA.com/direct. Your business news as well as your weather after this. Do stay with us. In money matters, MTN's long-term credit rating has been lowered to junk. Standard & Poor's has cut the company's rating from BBB, the lowest investment grade, to BB+. This follows a revised outlook for the network's largest market. The agency says the firm has significant exposure to Nigeria with its weakened economy. The review also accounted for the network's reduced fine by the Nigerian Communications Commission. It's, however, kept MTN's standalone credit profile unchanged. And with that, let's see how the markets performed today. Here's Candace with all your weather details.
The weather's quiet for the first part of the work week, with things drying out by Wednesday. We're expecting some rainfall mainly along the KwaZulu-Natal coastline on Tuesday, with some cloud remaining over Mpumalanga, and we're forecasting another cool day over the eastern part of the country. Sunny and warm as we head further west, with a hot day expected over the western part, and we'll see a band of high cloud over the western and southern part of South Africa. It'll be a dry and cool day over the interior part of KwaZulu-Natal, with highs in the teens. Rain is forecast for Richards Bay at 22, with a high of around 20, and some light rain for Durban and Port Shepstone. Dry throughout the Eastern Cape with a warmer day, 23 degrees for Port Elizabeth and Port Alfred, 27 with a warm day for Graaff-Reinet and Somerset East. You'll see high cloud throughout the Western Cape with a hot day over the interior, with a few of those highs heading into the mid-30s. Mostly sunny for Cape Town and Langebaan, both at 32. You'll also see high cloud over the western part of the Northern Cape with a dry forecast throughout the province, just shy of 30 degrees for Prieska and Passersburg, with a possibility of fog along the coast. We're expecting sunny conditions for the majority of the Free State, partly cloudy at 17 degrees for Harrismith, out of the highs in the mid-20s from Verriesmith all the way through to Welkom. Another fine and warm day is forecast for the northwest, with most highs in the mid-20s. You'll see the skies clearing out for Limpopo, but temperatures still remain quite cool, 18 degrees for Polokwane and Zanin at 22. Partly cloudy and dry throughout Mpumalanga, 20 degrees for Bombela and Emakazeni and Omelo heading into the mid-teens. We're forecasting a sunny Tuesday for Gauteng, Johannesburg and Soweto at 22 degrees, and Pretoria with a maximum of 24 and a minimum of 8. Things dry out across South Africa on Wednesday, with a warmer day expected. A few degrees cooler for the Western Cape, with some cloud building up, and that's ahead of a frontal system which brings in cooler weather and rainfall over the western and southern parts, but you'll see a sizzling hot Thursday over the central and eastern part of the country. That's all from the Weather Centre for now. Have a great night.
Thank you, Candace. After the break, Kim Kardashian West escapes unharmed after being robbed at gunpoint. Welcome back. Reality TV star Kim Kardashian West was held up at gunpoint at a Paris hotel.
And the robbers made off with millions of dollars worth of jewelry.
Reports say she was confronted by two armed masked men dressed as police officers.
And it's understood her husband, rapper Kanye West, abruptly ended his concert in New York upon hearing the news.
Kardashian West escaped unharmed from the incident. A recap of the day's stories. A multi-stakeholder forum identifies critical issues to be addressed amid the ongoing higher education crisis. Pressure mounts on the SABC over the new appointment of Hlaudi Motsweneng as a critical parliamentary committee meeting looms. It's a wrap from the eNews Direct team.
It is indeed. To share your views, you can send an email to enewsdirect@etv.co.za.
Until tomorrow night, have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.